So to take an object from your printer, or sorry, from your program, from your CAD, from your model, in this case Fusion 360, to your 3D printer, you need what's called a slicer program. And what that does is it takes your 3D object. We'll just make ourselves some space. Sure, we have a poorly drawn apple. I was going to start to draw something else there, but I don't know, just a sphere, whatever. Apparently, it's a mutant pineapple, a mutant apple. And what it does, a slicer program, it literally takes that object and slices it into horizontal layers all the way up so that it can print. Because essentially, what you have is, say you took an object somehow that was rendered in a regular actual paper printer, and you printed each one of these layers a picture, and then you stacked all of those pictures on top of one another into a stack of paper. Ideally, that would create the same thing three-dimensionally. And that is how a 3D printer, or that is how a slicer program tells a 3D printer to work. So it creates each segment layer by layer, moves up, prints again, layer, prints, layer, prints, layer, prints. So that's how that all functions. So it's pretty straightforward in a sense. Now, we're going to get into like a variety of different things that we'll deal with. But in order to deal with this, you need a slicer program. And we're going to be using Bambu. Now, in this, and you can download, and I have the notes here. Let me pull this up. I did make a write-up for this, and then Bambu immediately released a new version that completely changed the installation interface like 2 days ago. But it's the same thing. So if you want, go to glossary. Or sorry, go to I added a section on the syllabus and getting started. Takes you to as the install guide here. Defeats the entire purpose, but the website here is on through that link. Sorry, I'm jumping around between screens here. Where'd it just go? There we are. So essentially, if you just go to, and I'm trying to get to my Zoom screen here. There we are. So if you just go to the handout here, but it's essentially just bambulab.com. And if you just type in, or you could just type in Bambu slicer, and it'll take you right here. What this is going to do, yes. What this is going to do is take you to the download page. I guess I should just change this. And for whatever you have, be it for Windows or Mac, there's even a Linux version. Now this is a larger install, and it will take a few. So if you want to do this while I'm talking, it's fine. If you want to do this later, also fine. But essentially, what this is going to do is download this directly, and it might take, like I said, it might take a few minutes to install. I do have this setup going, the installation guide here, but it immediately changed, and this is no longer fully applicable. But essentially what it's going to do, some of these first ones are the same. It's just going to ask you for what region you are in, and that's just for like language selection, things like that. Sometimes there's lockouts for different regions, but in this case, it's just for just for that. No worries. But one of the things is the Bambu slicer will work for both the printers in the main Bambu printers in the think tank, as well as our PRUSAs. PRUSA does make a dedicated one, and I can discuss that one later, but know that this slicer will generate files for both types. So you could do all your work in one, get to there. So what I'm getting to. What you want to do is it's going to open up with all of these different ones, optioned, mainly because it's Bambu, all the different Bambu models. What I do, upper right-hand corner of the screen, clear all. So I'm going to go along, and essentially all you want to do is you're just selecting the Bambu X1-Carbon, the upper left-hand one, just only that one. Then you're going to scroll down and select, of the two options for PRUSA, it is only the Mark III-S. So those are the only two printers you're selecting for this. Next, you're going to select the filaments. Now, this screen is different from the one you will see because they changed the format. But again, one of the easiest ways to do this is just go through and select the ones that say all, clear all of them. So you're not having to like select through each and deselect all the individual ones. Because all you're really wanting to select is PLA and PETG. Now let me change over to, I know, give me a moment. Like I said, it changed. And only from, they have the Bambu Lab one and also generic. So just that way it's open for whatever you want. And you'll have to go through and select the ones. I will show you on mine in a moment. I'm just showing you this write-up that now doesn't really fully apply. But there's just a couple of generic PETG and PLAs. There's so many other ones, but ignore those for now. After you finish with that, it will ask you, do you want to do a network plugin? I deselected it. I do not need a network plugin. How you get stuff from the slicer, from your computer to the printers are two different ways, but the Bambu ones can be network controlled. We're not using that. So deselect that. And then you'll be able to install, or then you'll be able to finish install. So let me show you on the Bambu here, or on the actual slicer once it's installed, and let me show you how to redo this, because I need to, where is it? Calibration project. I'm still learning Bambu. I'm not as familiar with it. Where is the dealie? Where's the calibrate, or where's the, there we are. Setup wizard. Okay, there we are. No, I was trying to find the setups, that way I can show you all directly what you'll be seeing. All right, so I reset the thing, and I'm going to walk you through the actual installation thing. So, like I said, select your region, North America, super duper. I want to skip this because I don't care right now. Like I said, you want to deselect everything by clear all, because by default it's going to have all the things selected. All you want to select is the very first one, the Bambu Lab X1-Carbon. So top left, not the X1, the carbon. I don't know what the difference is, but just in case. And then scroll down. Probably. I don't know. Scroll all the way down. Just the one PRUSA Mark III-S, because that's the only one we have. We have two of those. It's just that one model. And that's it. Only those two printers, one from Bambu, one from PRUSA. Next, so you're going to have like so many options here. Go ahead and check and see, this is already different from the write-up I just made. So you can select the all. I want to just deselect all the things. So it's going to default to now just those two, Bambu Carbon. There we are. And from the makers, vendor, I'm going to select just Bambu Lab and generic. Those are all, the other ones are just different ones. But the only reason we're deselecting those, because that is not the ones we have in this room or in the makerspace. That's all. You working at home, select all the things you please. So, like I said down here, holy crap, what are all of these? Don't worry about it. All we're selecting, only PLA. Scrolling down to just the regular PETG. There's so many other options. That's why I'm saying it's very easy to get overwhelmed. We're selecting only PLA and PETG. That's it. Next. I'm going to uncheck this because I do not want to install a Bambu plugin. Yes.
Having selected those, I think those are just filters, and we still have to select something on the main screen. Because when I hit next, it asks me, it's at least one filament needs to be selected.
Yeah. So I selected.
So do we just keep the ones that...
Oh, crap. Now mine reset it.
Uh-oh.
It's all right. So just Bambu Lab and just generic. I'm selecting just PLA and just PETG.
And nothing is shown. So
I scrolled down. I'm sorry. So what's automatically selecting here is is Bambu PETG Basic and Bambu PLA Basic, and then generic PETG and generic PLA. So it's just those, and they should automatically be selected. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot that that screen did, so I scrolled back up. There's a whole bunch of different varieties. Those are possible options, but we're not using those specific filaments, so we're not bothering with it right now. We can always go back and add those later if that comes up, or you bring in your own spool of filament, something like that. So it's just ending up with those 4 options. Let's keep it simple for now. Unchecking the install Bambu network and finish. Now you're going to automatically be brought to this screen. And that's because this is Bambu also automatically has a file sharing network and yada, yada, yada. I don't care about any of that right now. Go over to the next tab that says prepare. We're always preparing for things. Just go. All right. Now you have a virtual environment. The upper left-hand corner, the first one, drop down printer. Open that up and you only have 2 options. You have Bambu and you have PRUSA. And what you'll see, if you'll look over at the printers, well, you're all sitting down, it's below your eye level. This is a one-to-one virtual workspace of those printers. And with the Bambu, exact same thing. So if you bring in a model into this program, it will be the exact size that it is represented with here. And each of these squares is a 10 millimeter square. So you will have a direct reference to the plate. Same thing with the PRUSA. Sometimes the visualization doesn't quite come through all the way. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but just look down here. The next block is your project filament. You have your generic. That's what we're using. So I don't know why it automatically selected TPU. I did not select that, so whatever. But you should just have the PLA and PETG. Same thing for Bambu.
Yeah,
But with Bambu, you can select either Bambu or the generic. So
for some reason, it says it's showing me like if I look in Bambu, there's PLA basic, PTG basic, ABS, PLA,
Yeah,
like all that.
you might have just accidentally selected something, or it's automatically forcing it in. I don't know why. Like I said, I didn't select TPU,
I didn't-
but it did install it. So we're trying to focus on just the 2, though. So if it did, we'll look at it later. Right now, for today, we're just going to use the standard presets, no matter what. Now, at the top, there are options for the plate. The textured PEI plate should be the default for a Bambu printer, and if it's on PRUSA, that's not an option right now. So there are better options, or there are more specific options for the PRUSAs with the PRUSA slicer, but for now, we're just going to focus with these. All right, so that's pretty much the rundown for these. In order to install or to bring something in, we're going to talk about all this other stuff later, but I just wanted to show you the basic interface and how this functions. So let me swap back over to Fusion. I'll show you how we're going to bring stuff out. So got my little Hellboy symbol here, and we're going to use this as an example. What I would do is you want to select the project. In this case, it's just that logo. And the only reason I'm going to expand the project file, the folder bodies, and selecting the logo itself is because if you have more than one object in a file, you want to make sure you're selecting only that object. That's all. So once you have this down, we're going to go up to the top file and go not export, but go to 3D print. And what you'll see is another tool pop up. Now, the very top one, preparation, you actually can go directly to print utility, and all that's going to do is kick it right over to the slicer. So whatever, don't worry about it. The default should just be export. Right at the top. And ultimately, everything else, good to go. Yes. One second. What's it?
How'd you do that again? Sorry.
File,
File.
3D print.
Got it.
Andrew, what was the question? What was the other question?
Oh no, I didn't say anything. I was Andrew. I was like, wait.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No,
That's-
that's why I was spacing out. Because I'm like,
That's my name. I don't know that you're talking
no,
about.
I was just gonna ask, like, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. So it's just that file and 3D print. Technically, we are exporting it, but export will try to export the entire project as a Autodesk Fusion project. That's why we're going to here, and it's going to kick it out as a standard STL file format. If you want, you can select the preview thing, and that's just going to show you this big crazy mesh. Doesn't matter if you do. Hit OK. And it's going to drop it wherever on your computer you want it to. Mine is going to the downloads folder. There we go. But you can see it's going out as an STL file. We will talk about file types later, but for now, STL, pretty standard. Hit save. And now, wherever it is in your computer, you can drag and drop. So let me open up here. Mine's in the download folder. Let me change over to the slicer. And all I have to do is the STL file, drag and drop it. You can, of course, also bring it in if you're in the program itself. In the top here, this little square with a plus, same deal. So drag and drop or bring it in as you want. And because this is just a direct print file, should be good to go. If yours did not come in flat like this, you need it to be flat on the project space. Let me rotate this so you can just see what it might look like if it didn't. Okay, well, we'll look at it in a second. So if yours came in like at an angle or anything like that, you can do this manually. So there's a variety of different things. Add plate, that's just you're doing different projects. But the one you want to use is called auto orient. And this is placing on a face. So first, select your object, go back to the auto orient, and it should snap it right down.
Yeah.
And what that's going to automatically do, ideally, is plop it as it should be. If it does not, if it doesn't put it flat down like that, the other one is it's the same symbol, but without the auto version. It's called place on face, lay on face. And this, once you select that, now you can see that it's highlighted the major faces of the object. And this makes it really easy to orient a large flat object right on there. So what you want to make sure to select is the back side, the side without your logo. And it's going to snap it right down. Yes.
With mine, where it's got like the handle to it, to put it on the flat side, so it's essentially be.
We're going to look at your object separately because yours is a more three-dimensional object than these just flat extrusions. So we're going to look at and talk about the ideal way to put more complex objects separately. So I'll help you with yours in a moment. But that's pretty much it for right now, because we're going to be selecting either generic PLA or PETG. The only reason you'd select a different one for now is if we're printing in here or at the makerspace by looking at the filaments, and I want this color filament. Some colors are available, as in what we literally have available in stock. Oh, I want this purple, or I want this translucent green. Well, that translucent green is only available right now. We only have a PETG filament of that. Or the purple is only a PLA purple. So you just got to make sure you have the correct one, because when this generates the program, the file in what's called G code, talk about that later, but when it creates the file to take to your printer, it automatically builds in the temperatures needed for that specific filament. Not necessarily that it's translucent or opaque, but that it's PLA or PETG. So that's why you got to make sure you got that. Right now, we're not going to bother making any adjustments to the layer heights or any of the other stuff you see here. Once you get this set, and like right now, I have it in the PRUSA space. So for these printers, or snap over, and it'll keep your model exactly as it was. Only it'll prep it for the Bambu printers. Get to it in a second. Once you're all set with that, you can now do the next tab over, which is preview. This is actually going to give you a representation of it printing. And all these weird little lines, that is the path of the print actually, or the extruder actually extruding your material. So as you can see from the side, you see all these layers. That's the chopped up layers. So that's all the different layers of these. So when we have all of these different heights, you can see all that. How tall is this model? 5.08 millimeters. So that's only because it was that 0.8 expects a little bit of a squish, stuff like that. How long is it going to take? 8 minutes. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Print time, 30 minutes. So when we talk about prints later on, okay, that's not that complex of a print. I think we could do that, but just be prepared. It might take time. Okay, cool. I have something slightly more complex. 30 hours? What the hell? That's not wildly uncommon. Because sometimes it's not necessarily that you're going to be using up 30 hours worth of material. It just can take that long to deposit the material down. That's it. Sometimes we have to use what's called supports because it's an object that can't physically exist as it would be because gravity exists, or it might tip over or something like that. You need to create supports. Yes.
With the makerspace, do you have to babysit it as it goes?
No. The question is, do you have to babysit these? The standard is usually, once you get these started, you want to hang around for the first layer to make sure it sticks properly, because sometimes little things happen. The first layer is the most important layer, because if it craps up then, obviously that can screw the whole print up. But once you're done with this, now we'll go to, there's no network, so whatever. And what we'll do is we'll extrude this out, or sorry, not extrude this out. We'll prep this. Why is it saying not set as over the grouping? A filament, Yeah, it's fine. Oh, because I don't want to print, I don't want to send this out. But essentially what this would prep it for is putting this out to where we can put it on an SD card. For the example in the room right now, I'm going to change it over to the PRUSAs. It's the exact same thing, no different. Preview, away we go. Great. Go to slice plate because that's what this one uses in the upper right-hand corner. Exact same process there. Super duper. Great. I don't really need tips. All right. So what it's going to do, now you could go to print if it's physically connected, but these don't work that way. So we'll go to, unfortunately, this is going to say export G code. Now, hopefully that's going to be the default going forward and it'll save that, but the other program does it differently. And this one, G code is the code that most CNC machinery uses. 3D printers, CNC metal lathes and mills or anything like that, same kind of technology. And Fusion can actually create pathways directly or G code directly to take to, say, a machine shop. And now you wouldn't do it because they'd want to generate their own. But technically, you can go right from Fusion to a CNC machine. But export G code, and it's going to drop it. You see in here the file logo or the file name, the type of filament, so it says PLA, and how long it's going to take to print. So that's in the file name. Do not change that, because once you put it into the printer, it will remind you. That way you don't forget and accidentally load the wrong thing. And plus, it gives you an idea how long it's going to take. And there you go. You'll save that onto your computer. You'll put that onto an SD card, and we'll plug it into the printers. Now, obviously, there's some setup for the printers, but in here, I just want to show you specifically how this works so you have an idea how this goes when we get to this. So that's pretty much the rundown. There's so much more to learn and cover later, but we'll get to that. I just want to show you how this goes for now. So hopefully these print well, and we'll go from there.